The aircraft was designed by the Horten brothers, or Horten brothers, and they were two Luftwaffe pilots. Um, one was one was a Bf 109 pilot, and was actually a wingman for Adolf Gallant in the Battle of Britain. Although that was never really publicized until later. And he ended up, after the war, going to Argentina. He offered his services to both the British and others, but his aircraft design services. But anyways, it was only Argentina who picked him up on the offer, and a lot of German Nazis ended up down there. The other brother, he stayed in Germany and earned a mathematics degree in 1946, and went on to work for the German Air Force. And their first design, as I said, was a glider, and then they expanded that to a powered glider. I don't know how that works, but in any case, I think it was probably just to see if it could handle the weight. But anyways, I don't know much about that. And so, anyways, yeah. So they weren't the first to come up with this idea. The first flying wing was actually developed by a very familiar name in aviation, Mr. Northrop, the original Mr. Northrop, in 1929, and he designed a glider flying wing design, and it eventually went on to design other flying wings things. Excuse me. The So, in addition to joining the Luftwaffe and so on and so forth, they've been puttering around, and the brother who had been the 109 pilot, he went on to become the unit's technical officer, and so obviously, and they designed other things as well. So, in 1943, Hermann Göring issued a request for design proposals for a bomber, for a 3 times 1,000 project, it was called. He wanted a bomber that could carry 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds of bombs over 1,000 kilometers at 1,000 kilometers per hour. So and of course, at 620 miles an hour, it needed to be a jet aircraft. And so, as you can see, it looks very much like what we see today. Not a lot of, some things haven't changed. It looks just like a B-1. And actually, a couple of interesting things. First of all, the version 1, the problem with the version 1 was that it couldn't accommodate the jet engines that were needed. So that design was basically set aside, and then there were 2 prototypes of the V2 version and 1 glider. And for the 1 prototype, it only flew 3 times. First time it was successful. The second time it didn't crash, but it was damaged on landing. And the third time, the test pilot, whose name was either Lieutenant or Oberleutnant, Sorry about this, guys. Erwin Ziller. I couldn't find much about Mr. Ziller or Oberleutnant Ziller other than mentions that he was an excellent test pilot. But on the final flight, one of the engines caught fire, and essentially it ended up he lost control of the aircraft and it crashed. The aircraft was completely destroyed. He survived, but died of his injuries shortly thereafter. So, as I said at the beginning, none ever flew in combat at all. And the one surviving model of the version 2 was actually packed up and taken back to the United States, chalked up as war reparations. And I'm sure they examined it for anything new or different than what they were already working on. It's also been speculated that a lot of UFO sightings in the 1950s were the result of Russian jet-powered flying wings. Because, they, I guess, probably got a hold of the blueprints and all that kind of stuff. So, those Russians. So, okay, so we'll open this up here. Oh, and the reason for the GO designation is that, the design idea and much of the design was done by the Horeten brothers. Also, a great deal was done by the Gotha company, and so I guess they got some credit for that. Okay, so we've got 3 sprues here, 1, 2, 3, all in gray plastic. And inside here we've got copyright 1994. So I guess this is original stuff. Like I say, this is this is just going to be an afternoon build, and a bit of extra time on painting. So we'll go through this, and then I'll go to the instructions. Everything looks pretty good here, and we got the upper and lower wings. Looks like this one's kind of broken off here, but no damage. We've got some recessed panel lines, as well as some other detail. The idea was to make this as aerodynamic as possible for speed reasons, and which is why there was no rear stabilizer or tail for that matter. All the maneuvering was done with the ailerons here. And then we have the fuselage pieces. Again, some nice detail. There's rivets here, as well as recessed panels. More rivet marks. I'm not seeing any flash, even on the, what did they say, 50 cal, 30 cal, whatever they are, 30 millimeters, yeah. And, we've got some nice turbines, nicely detailed here. And so, yeah, very nice, no complaints about that. And the quality of the plastic looks good. There's no blemishes or anything like that. No scrapes or all that kind of stuff. Again, here, this is very clean molding. This is extremely clean. You got pieces like this here. There's no flash, no flash, no flash. And everything's attached. So very nice. And then we get one set of clear parts, and so it's like this is the front, and then this closes up at the back. I'm not sure, but I expect they'd have to get in here, crawl up, and then this would be closed. But we'll see about that. So and again, everything's perfect. There's some what do you call it? The lines here, and so yeah, decent enough detail. No complaints about that. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I haven't seen Revell instructions like this before, although I haven't done very many Revell 172 kits. So let's see how this works. Okay, first of all, yeah, we get all the legal stuff, and tucked in amongst all the legal stuff is a nice decal sheet. And what I found out, they use cartograph decals now. And on the Apollo 11, I had no trouble at all with those decals. They were great. So, good job, Revell. And now here, oh, I see, they just folded the booklet a little differently. Okay. So I'll just read a little bit here. The Horeten brothers, they were already designing aircraft as early as 1933. And so, anyways, yeah, if you're interested, the development is quite interesting. Oh, the other good thing, and I mentioned this before, the instructions here are printed in Poland, and the kit was produced in Korea. And looking at this plastic, I suspect that it's Academy, which has actually produced the kit. And oh, and I'll put a link in the description. I found recently, I saw recently, a very interesting video on Academy's new injection molding technology. They have brand new injection molds, and yeah, we can see now. I can see now, how much they've upped their game. Big difference from their older kits, which there was nothing wrong with. They just tended to be a little oversimplistic and not that detailed, but fun kits to put together. Now, they're producing stuff that rivals Tamiya, Revell, and others. So, the original aircraft had a wingspan of 16.8 meters, or 54 feet 7 inches. It was 7.5 meters long, or 24 feet 4 inches. Standing off the ground, it was 2.81 meters, 9 feet 2 inches, and had a takeoff weight of 17,000 pounds, and the engines were 4 Jumo 004 B2s. And I think they were developed, I think Jumo was Junkers, but I'm not sure. 910 kp each power. Oh, that was for the engines. And maximum speed 542 miles per hour, crew of 1, and it is 30 millimeter Mark 103, which actually weren't on this, but were envisioned for the version 6, which of course was never produced because Nazi Germany lost the war. Lucky for us. Good for us. Okay, and again here, this is kind of nice in that I had been, I kind of complained before that, they put their colors here. And, when you're over here and it tells you to paint something, then, like here, G. So now you have to go back. What's G? Now you have to go back. What's H? Blah, 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 blah. So, but one nice thing they do is they give you proportions for mixing different paint colors. Yeah. Makes it easy for you. And, you get the usual read this before, and they always have it in like 8 different languages. And, they give you little illustrations about how to do stuff and mold stuff. And then we get the glossary of what everything means in the instructions. And we get a sprue map, which is always very nice. And there's nothing shaded out, so it looks like all the parts are going to be used. And it looks like this has a total of 61 parts. And then we go through to step 1, as usual. It's the cockpit tub, and putting the seats in. And we go 1, 2, 3. This is for the engine nacelles and the air intake, the 30 caliber machine guns, how that undercarriage works. And then we've got the exhaust, side panels, bottom part goes on to top part. Maybe I'll do it in black and yellow and make it the back plane. Anyways, okay, okay. So then you put the wings on. This is nice. You get 2 flanges or tabs to clip in there. Then we have the undercarriage, if you're going to use it, how it goes in. I think I'm going to use it. I'm just going to put it on the shelf. And then we get a nice profile here, how it's supposed to look. And then this details if you don't want the landing gear down, where all those panel doors go. And then, of course, the last thing is the clear part canopy. Looks a bit like a swallow from this angle. It doesn't have a swallowtail. And yeah, so then there's 2 versions. The JG400 and just pick which version you want, I guess. Yeah. Paint schemes look the same. It just looks like the decaling might be a little bit different. And and the camouflage scheme is the pattern is different. This is all angular, and this is mostly angular, but with some more staggered, softer areas. So I guess it's just a case of, I think I'm going to go with this, because it's going to give me a chance to, yeah, I think I'll go with this one. But anyways, that's down the road. Okay, so that's it. I did pretty well today with my ums and ahs, didn't I, guys? Okay, and the next, after losing my mojo a bit, because of personal stuff, some people have heard about, it's back. And I went gonzo finishing up the Apollo 11. Not too happy with the paint. I learned some stuff. But, you know, anyways, it went together well, and I'm overall pleased with it. A few touch-ups to do. I think it's a white Sharpie job mostly, but if it doesn't work out, it's going to be like, okay, those dark smudgy spots, that's condensation from the early morning mist, whatever. Okay, so, nice kit. Don't know if I want to pay more than $26 for it. But yeah, so now it's time for our rating. Alright, so I use a 12-point rating system. Excuse me. It's there somewhere on the channel, but it's up to 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for sprues, 3 points for parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. Each of those 4 categories can get a quarter-point bonus for any wow factors, and I also allow myself to award up to 1 full point for value. And I consider value to be, you know, how much entertainment, how much enjoyment am I going to get out of it, based on, you know, as relative to the cost. Oh, and I should apologize too if you're hearing a little whirring in the background. It's kind of warm here, especially in my hobby room, and I have a little portable fan going here. There it is. I've showed this before. Handy little thing. Okay, so packaging. You know, a lot of people really hate the Revell side opening box. I guess it is what it is. It doesn't have as much structural integrity as, say, something you get from ICM, but there it is. But yeah, I'm going to have to ding them half a point on the packaging. It was just, yeah. So, and part of that's Amazon too. So, a big part of that, most of it. And for the sprues, everything was complete. In spite of having been crushed, there was no damage. Zero flash, no molding, bubbles, holes, any weird stuff like that. Everything was good. So full 2 points for that, plus a quarter point for the fact there was absolutely no flash there. I mean, you know, 94, that's a 30-year-old kit now, and the molding just looked perfect. So parts, quality of plastic was good, detail was quite nice. As I said, you know, there were rivets and recessed panel lines, and etc., etc., etc. There were no more, warped or broken parts, and you know, in spite of being crushed, all it was, you know, there was those 2 little wing pieces sprung off the end of the sprue rack. So yeah, but no damage to it. So, and for the instructions get 3 points as well. Nice general service and history notes. I didn't go through the whole thing, but there was a good little write-up of the whole history there. And they were clear. They were all in black and white, but that's okay. And so yeah, so that gets a full 3 as well. And then I'm going to give it a quarter point bonus for value. Because, you know, I mean, for $25, you know, that's a good little kit. It's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna take you 5 hours to put it together. But if you want to take your time with it, I think it'll decorate up nicely. And back to parts again. The cartograph decals. So that actually, they get a quarter-point bonus for that. There we go. That brings us to a total of 10.25 out of 12, which I think is pretty respectable considering, you know, it's just a little kit. But let me know what you think. Something different, something that'll sit on the shelf nicely, and, you know, what do you get for 25 bucks now? Yeah, well, this is what you get for 25 bucks, or a little more. And for a young modeler, it would, you know, really be, you know, well worth $25. Okay, so that's it for today. Again, check out my Substack, Steve K. And feel free to leave comments there. Appreciate everyone's feedback. And that's it for today. Thanks for stopping in. I always appreciate everyone's time. And so, thanks again. Bye now.